Another week, another team from the Aloha State as the Vanguard Lions welcome to the lower 48, the Sharks of Hawaii Pacific. With that, we say welcome to Dean Harvey Field in Costa Mesa, California. J.D. Johnson riding solo for this one. Xander Zubiati's at class. But the Chaminade series was a split. Vanguard scored more runs in Game 1 than they did for the rest of the series. Sharks are going to be a much tougher team to get in the water with. Game 3 saw Jackson Davis have his birthday wish come true with the 2 RBI single with 2 outs on the board, proving to be the game winner on Saturday. But Vanguard only managed a split against the worst team in the conference in the Silver Swords. Vanguard just a couple games ahead of them in that regard. First pitch is downstairs from the man who's getting his first career start, even going back to his JUCO days. It's Trevor Steele. He spent his JUCO days at OCC, literally just a 2-minute walk away from here. Command is going to be something to watch for the hard-throwing Trevor Steele. Rocket number 16, the senior man, originally from El Segundo, standing 6'1". Battery mate is going to be Angel Perez. Another conversation piece that we had during the Chaminade series is how much work does AP have left in the tank? Helene's playing on the outfield grass from his spot at second base. Let's go and talk about the rest of the Vanguard defense. James Derflinger continues to hold down short for Vanguard. Tristan Gallegos as well, holding down first base. Bennett Vondrak on the hot corner returns to that spot after a couple of changes. Evan Avitia getting the nod in Game 4 of the Chaminade set. Steele, again, overthrowing that one. Left to right, Jackson Davis and Tyler Shiganaka. And then another man getting his first career start, Chase Easter Hairston at the 9 spot defensively. You love to see that for the 4-year man. Trevor Steele's behind 3-1. Working against Taguchi, the leadoff man who draws a walk on 5 pitches. Tyler Arnold, I mean, there's bats everywhere through this Y order. Maybe not always for power, but this year they're really focusing on the average. And then number 36, Tatum Hashimoto, will be in charge of flipping the lineup for the Sharks, who are in their milky gray tops for this one with the lone black stripe down the pant. Steele gasses in at the knees. Called strike. Trevor Steele will check in on the runner. He has that really snap delivery, so anytime a guy gets on, we're going to be careful to watch out for the motion on the ocean. Yesterday, it was Westmont who was running all over Hawaii Pacific here at the Dean. I know we weren't live streaming that one, and I know Sharks fans at home were wondering, hey, why didn't Vanguard do us a solid and, live stream? Well, we had senior night for men's volleyball, so fortunately we were stretched a little bit too thin on that one. Elevates and in does Steele. 1-2. So sorry about that. Hopefully you were able to enjoy it from the live stats, but we'll talk about some things that the live stats displayed that you would have had to seen with your eyes, especially talking about Ty Arnold, the third baseman. He had some terrific plays over there on the hot corner for the Sharks yesterday, as we were able to be on site for that one. And that will skip in on the foot, and Steele quickly has 2 men on. 23 days ago, did not record an out. It was the second consecutive outing where he failed to get a man out. Softly hit into left field. Jackson Davis is going to have to go retrieve it. He fires home. It's cut off by Bennett Vondrak. Quickly 1-0. This one courtesy of Ty Arnold on the RBI single. Squares around a bunt, leaves it off into the dugout. He's at 350 himself. Sliced. Davis says it's going to drop in front of me in very shallow left field. Wondered if Vondrak was going to work his way back, but it just was too close of a play where you don't want to risk that and have no one cover in third. So right idea right there defensively for the blue and gold. The 1-1. Chopped. Caught in fair territory. Bennett Vondrak comes home. AP taps the toe on the plate, and it's the first out of the inning. He does reach on the fielder's choice, but a good job there by Bennett Vondrak recognizing the situation. Just the 16th start of the season for the Huntington Beach native. Outfielder by trade. Was 0 for 2 yesterday against the Warriors. 2-2. Poked. Backhanded grab is not to be for Helene. 2-0 ball game. Make it 3-0 now. And it's going to be the 2 RBI double for Owen Wessel. Getting that one back up the middle. 10 of them have been for extra bases, as he's tied for the second most home runs on the team. Comebacker misses Steele's glove, and is going to be 2 more runs. The Sharks are swimming well against Vanguard. 5-0. Still just the 1 out on the board as well, as Perez gives himself his 20th RBI of the season. AP is now going to have a conversation with Trevor Steele, as this is not the first career start that I'm sure he was envisioning when he went to bed last night. Sophomore Slashes the bunt down over to Gallegos. Backhanded flip to Helene. He's safe. This is a tough situation. But the Sharks chase him early. 5-0, 1 out on the board. Well, getting his first action in almost a month is Mitch Hunter, the Atwater native. Standing 6'5", trying to clean up this mess for Vanguard. Steps one in below the knee. 2/3 of work there. 1 hit, 2 earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts. He has yet to strike a man out all year, and he will have to wait a bit longer. Chase Easter Hairston will get his first action in a while. He will pump. It is going to be runners on the corners, 1 away, 6-0. Hawaii Pacific looking more at home than Vanguard right now, as yes, they will bat around in the top of the first. Hunter pulled on the ground, Helene, and the nightmare is over. Sharks swim early, and they swim often. 7-0 going to the bottom of the first. Well, that top of the first was the 35th time this year that Vanguard has given up 3+ runs in a single inning. That is the most runs that Vanguard has given up in a single inning since Jessup, where they gave up 6+ runs in 4 different innings. The good news for Vanguard, though, is that they've changed things around offensively to see if something gets sparked. Because remember, Vanguard against Chaminade, they put up the 10 runs in Game 1, and then the rest of the series, they had a total of 7 runs. So Vanguard not happy with the offensive production against Chaminade, who is towards the bottom of the conference in pitching. So they're going to go with Daniel Rivera in the leadoff spot, who pokes this one over to Ty Arnold, who was fantastic just 24 hours ago against Westmont. He's got the first out. That one was a lot easier for him, but some of the plays that he made from his position at third, fantastic. Coach Pegg, by the way, is going to be coaching third base to start this game, as Brian Paymard will be coaching first base. Obviously, Chase Easter Harrison has typically been coaching first base for Vanguard, but he got the start today. Daniel Rivera, as he goes back to dugouts, talking to Tristan Gallegos. In the 2-hole today, Bennett Vondrak, who fouls off his foot, it looked like. And they're going to say no. Coach Pegg wants to have a conversation. It looked like, based off of the ricochet, it looked like a hit foot, but Bennett doesn't appeal, so everything's kosher. Tristan Gallegos stepping up. And the last thing, if you are Vanguard, that you want to do is have the fastest bottom of the first ever, because you're going to be asking Angel Perez to pop a squat after just doing so for the last 22 minutes. Outside? No, it is not. It is a crooked K. Fastest 3 minutes since Boomer's halftime report on ESPN. Goodness me, not the response that you wanted from Vanguard. 7-0 through 1. In the top of the second, Arnold, 386. Good enough for second best on Hawaii Pacific, but we would be leading Vanguard's offense. Hunter comes in, filthy off speed. Now, don't get me wrong, Trevor Steele, even though the 7 runs were put up on his name, he had some good stuff mixed in there and had a couple of good highlights and some good pitches. It just never came together, and when he missed, it left it hanging over the plate, and HPU was just hitting them where they ain't. Slight shift is on as Helene is center mass behind Mitch Hunter. 2-2. Turned foul through the Fred Buxton net. Wake-up call for someone trying to study in Catalina Hall. But he was good in long relief for Vanguard. Season ago, had that 5-inning performance against Hilo where he looked phenomenal. 2 ups into Durf, holds him to a single. 7 hits already. Which Gabriel, he is a do-it-all guy. I mean, we'll continue to talk about him. He has been the Pac West Pitcher of the Week twice already, and he can rake. I mean, this is a talent for sure. Surely going to be an all-conference selection when it comes time in about a month's time for the Pac West tournament being hosted by Westmont this year. It is going to be a tight race. AP releases himself from his perch to go get that one. Make sure it's not a free 90. Hawaii Pacific, we were talking about the accolades that Gabriel's had thus far. They've had 6 accolades throughout this 2026 season. Between Arnold, Gabriel twice, Blakeney as of late, Noah Rea, and even them as a whole unit on March 3rd, they were named the team of the week for their sweep against Jessup. Mitch checks in on the runner once more. He's on the move. Perfectly executed. Wide turn at 2. We'll try to get the back pick there. Not to be, it's a single. But it's funny how baseball works. Obviously, Hawaii Pacific swept Jessup. Jessup swept Westmont, and Westmont currently has a leg up on the Sharks with 2 more games to be played. Had 3 different players with 15-plus homers. Wessel trying to get one here. It is back. It is a 3-run shot for Wessel. 10-0, just like that. 5 RBI already for Wessel. Have yourself a first 2 innings. And Peg is creeping out. So forget eating up innings. Time to pull the plug. Second call to the bullpen already. Sharks have turned the Lions into shark bait. Christian Perez facing off against the southpaw Colton Perez. This is his first career outing at home, believe it or not. 4th total appearance in his career. He did have one last year, coincidentally, against Hawaii Pacific. That was his first appearance. Normally our designated hitter. Can play first base as well, but he's stepping in on the hill. And we're at 14 minutes right now, and we just talked about the 20-plus minute inning that was there in the top of the first. You feel for AP. Eye contact warning is issued to Colts. Saw a couple of those yesterday. That was actually a point of contention. I know we didn't broadcast like we talked about, but Coach Dane Fujinaka was irate with the umpire on one. He felt that his guy was getting quick pitched, and so that he got in the umpire's faces a little bit and let him know that he was not happy. It was called a strike, and he ripped into him a little bit there. Nothing happened, no warnings, nothing. But they did assess that as an offensive timeout, which then he was even more upset. So obviously he's, I'm sure, thrilled that this is not the same umpire crew as yesterday. We've still got a good one, though. Behind home plate is Brandon Hastings. We've had him all year pretty much. Colt sees that one lifted to center field. Shiggy dances back just a tad next to a squirrel who wanted to aid him in the effort but quickly scampered away. It's one away. Not sure if Shiggs knows he's made a friend out there. Hastings, we talked about, calling balls and strikes in this one. Bradley Murda and Brandon Butler, both guys who we've had before, are in the field for this one. Overcast day. Costa Mesa, 12-6. He's in there, 0-1. Colt. Again, snatching wide. He's done that a few times now. We even here. Tatum Hashimoto had the RBI single back in the first. Which I say back in the first, but even though it was just an inning ago, like I said, that was a very long inning as we are already approaching an hour of game time. Colt. So, my goodness gracious, the bat flies out of the hands. Highlight of the day thus far for Vanguard. You'll take him where you can get him. Colton Perez with the strikeout. Back in a moment. 10-0. Sharks up. Davis skies it up. Will not leave the infield. Does not. Handled by the shortstop for today, Hashimoto. And that bottom of the first was so fast that we didn't really get a chance to introduce anybody for the Hawaii Pacific Sharks. But before we do that, we'll introduce AP in the 5-hole. That was just Jackson Davis, by the way, who's in charge of batting cleanup for this one. AP's up right now in the 5 spot. Tyler Shigenaka is removed from leadoff spot. He's going to try to find his bat again in the 6 spot. 7 through 9 is Durf, Helene, and Chase Easter Hairston. But defensively, catching, Brock Work pokes, and Vanguard gets their first base runner of the day, courtesy, of course, from Angel Perez, who has had, he's been Vanguard's bright spot. Obviously, Gallegos has been as well, but just from what AP's been having to do, crouching behind home plate, a lot of wild pitches, he's had his work cut out for him. You tip your cap for him, to him, for showing up every day. Shiggy, I'm sure, does not mind batting 6 today. His batting average has dipped down to .213. Has started every game thus far, though. It's there. And remember, we're talking about it yesterday. Westmont was running pretty well against Hawaii Pacific. A lot of stolen bases. See if Vanguard can try to manufacture something. AP not necessarily known for swiping them. Just 1 for 1 on the season. But everyone, and I mean everyone for Westmont, was trying to steal.